Hello, this is Glen Dunzweiler. Welcome to another episode of Difficult Questions. This one, are men jerks? And I have a long history asking and answering this question. And in the past couple months, it came up on my Twitter feed, believe it or not, a lot of posts about how men are jerks. And I just thought, this is something that's always been part of my life. Me trying not to be a jerk, me realizing when I'm a jerk, seeing other men be jerks with my upbringing, and we'll just tackle this. We'll figure out, are men jerks? And so I tried to look at my life and the way I was raised versus the way I've seen other men interact with women and my own complications with the interaction. And we'll try to put it all together and figure this thing out. So the short answer is yes, men are jerks, but give women a chance. So we'll break down how I've come to that conclusion. And it comes down to what I can identify as four things. One is implicit versus explicit. So men need to put themselves out there, and they get used to putting themselves out there. And so they're always saying what they want, what they need, what they're attracted to. And it's part of the courting ritual, right? Where men go after and women receive if they like. With that, it's this idea of catch versus keep. I think men get into this because they're going to get rejected. So they get used to this idea of trying to entice women and catch women and be kind of these blowhard people that are interesting and interactive. But they know they're going to get rejected. So at least, and I'm thinking this is what happened with me, is the chase becomes the thing, not actually keeping someone, because you could get rejected and rejection hurts. So you just worry about catching, where I think women are worried about more so keeping. He's a keeper, right? So there's that. And then, so it's implicit, explicit, and there's this catch versus keep. And it's also what I think people value. So as far as for me, when I'm a man and I'm trying to be attractive to women, it's about what I do, who I am. So at one point I was a university professor. I had a title, right? Oh, that says I'm a worthwhile human being. It's about what I do. I'm a filmmaker. Oh, I made this documentary. Oh, wow. And when I was in relationships, there was this huge concern from women I was with, who they are with, right? You want to be with this person that is of high status. But I don't know that it goes any other way. Part of my frustration in dating and whatnot, and I thought, well, I'm attracted to women, but why am I attracted to you? What do you do? At one point, a friend of mine posted, life is short, sleep with the guitar player. And I thought, well, why not be the guitar player? Right? So it's this, what you do versus who you're with. And then the final thing is this attraction to the physical that men have for women, that women can sometimes enjoy, and sometimes, a lot of times, it's annoying and it gets in the way. In fact, I just had an interaction where there was this online video of this young woman who was dressed in kind of yoga pants and a crop top. She was up on a counter. She was trying to swing from a light fixture, which, if you know about light fixtures, they don't support weight. And so the camera person is watching her, and you can see up her crop top. Now she's wearing a bra, but there's this sexuality component that overtakes what she's actually doing. And so I was posting I posted this to my Facebook page and I said, I like humanity, but I don't think we're going to survive, because this woman was going to hang off a light fixture. And of course it fell from the ground and the circuit broke. And so they're in the middle of the dark, and, fire hazard, electrical hazard, stupidity. But a friend of mine posts about how she has nice hooters. And I just think that's it. That's why that attraction is why women have it easy. And that's a bad term, but why women are automatically attracted, because we're automatically attracted to your physical, but why it's also just a detriment. I was listening to a woman, she was saying boobs make men dumb. And that's absolutely true. Boobs make men dumb. Women's figure make men dumb. I was fortunate enough, I've told this in the podcast before, I grew up with a lot of directed and proud women. So I was always corrected when I got into the boobs make men dumb phase of my life, which is hitting at puberty, where it's like, ooh, women, pretty. Oh, I love women for women's sake, right? But then my first job out of college was working for a review show at Harrah's Casino. So it was a review show. We did a family-friendly show, and then we did an adult show. So the adult show was a topless review. And I remember at my interview, my boss asked, can you work around naked women without making them feel uncomfortable? So at that early age, in my early 20s, I started to have to develop this switch where I turned that stuff off in my head, because I needed to work with people that were in various states of undress, doing somewhat sexual things on stage for the audience, but I was their work cohort. So that wasn't for me, and I needed to be able to divide that. So I started looking at the world very differently than I think other men that don't have that challenge, and they're just constantly boobs or oh, she's hot. And I was on Twitter, I was talking with a person that was annoyed at men that come up to her. And if you're an attractive woman, again, I've worked around attractive women my whole life, being in entertainment, working with dancers, working with actors, and they get hit on a lot, and it gets really annoying. But if you're not getting hit on, then how do you meet men? Because women are this implicit, like, I just accept your advances if I think you are attractive, or if I think you are someone. And so she was saying, how can men stop hitting on me? And I said, well, at one point, because I didn't want to be that guy, I was trying to give people my business card, which doesn't work, because business is business. She said, oh, that's brilliant. You give people your business card. But I just see someone I like. I don't know her. See someone I'm attracted to. I'm visually attracted to. And I give them my business card. And then I just say, if you're interested, call me. Well, why interested in what? The way I look? We're not talking. We're not engaging. And I don't know her. And another thing that I grew up with, that trying not to be that guy, was, well, why should I be attracted to her? I mean, my body is saying, yeah, go talk to her. But why? Do I know? Is she accomplished as I should be accomplished? Is she a university professor? Has she worked so hard to be that? Is she the guitar player? I don't know. She's just visually attractive. So I started to resent that and kind of back away from that. And I always say I've been dead in the eyes since 1992. And that was just this joke, but this honesty of saying, if it's supposed to be equal, you need to come up on me. You need to have something interesting. And I'm not going to just be interested in you because I have a weakness. I'm a man, and heterosexual man, and boobs make me dumb. So I have to constantly shut that part of me down so you come up on me. The other thing that really bent me was when I was in my early 20s, before the job at the review show, I was in college, and an older student took a liking to me, and she'd been through life, so she knew what she wanted. And at one point, she threw me up against a cyclone fence, and I'm 6'2". She was maybe 5'3", and she said, "I want you right now," which exciting if you want that, assault if you don't. But then again, she's a small woman. I'm a large man. So it's never going to be assault. It's going to be laughable assault when she does it. If I were to do it, I'm going to jail, right? Especially if she doesn't want that. But I think that to some extent, it was scary, but also exciting. And I think that as human beings, if we're attracted to someone, we want that dominance. At least I see that in some women, and I've listened to other people say that if women don't have a dominant figure in their life, they become that dominant figure. Someone has to be dominant. And so in this world of biology, someone needs to be dominant. And a lot of times it's the man, and a lot of times that's attractive because he's a go-getter and he gets what he wants, but he also gets into bad habits, and he also starts to not appreciate the person in front of him. And he also just worries about the chase and not about the keep. Like, are we in a relationship, and what is this relationship? And he also gets distracted at boobs all the time because there are boobs everywhere. And one of the things I always had a problem with is I started to resent my weakness. And I thought, okay, well, I just need to not, I'm turning this part off my brain, but women are wearing revealing clothing. They're showing legs. They're showing more of their chest than I'm showing of my chest. I mean, I'm in a suit and tie with buttoned up, and they're maybe not showing cleavage, maybe showing cleavage, but they're definitely showing more of their chest than mine. They're wearing skirts. They're showing legs. I'm in long pants, and this is business dress. This is just appropriate. Why? This is my weakness. Why do I have to see that? And so I kind of understand the Middle Eastern countries, and they want, okay, we have to cover women up because we don't want men to make bad decisions, which, hey, just don't make bad decisions and women can do what they want. But at the same time, women, you need to know that we're ridiculous. We are ridiculous. And this is you showing skin. Great. Hey, if I could walk around naked, I get it. We don't want clothes. It's better to be naked. When we're toddlers, we could just naked time all the time. And I get it. And maybe clothes bug you. So being more revealing or being attractive, whatever, you want to do that for you, but it affects the outside world. And so I think that's why men are jerks as well, because they haven't worked at turning that off, and they should. There should be a gentleman's school somehow where I would say adolescent males learn how to control their sex drive monster and to be respectful. But I was talking to another friend and trying to figure out how that could possibly work, and what mother would admit that her boy needs to go learn how to control his emerging sex drive monster, and who's going to teach that course? I volunteered, but who am I? And now am I just some creepy dude? I remember taking an acting class, and the acting instructor said the reason he got into acting was to meet women. It's like, oh my God, dude, wasn't it just acting? And it's this thing, man. I mean, men are just geared towards being attracted and going to talk to women for women's advantage and for women's detriment. It's just something that we're always it's attention, right? And so, yes, men are jerks, but at the same time, I would pull back and women would be frustrated with me because beauty all of a sudden means something. And if you're not actively attracted to me, well, then I must be unattractive. And oh my gosh, if all I have is attractiveness, and I'm not a guitar player, and I'm not a university professor, and what else do I have to offer the world? And I think a lot of times women get fixated on looks and other people's looks because men are fixated on them. And then that has a detrimental effect in their world and what how they perceive themselves and what their value is. And I think it does cheapen it. I still can't figure out makeup. I still don't understand why makeup, but I understand beauty standards and changing beauty standards and trying to get to certain beauty standards. But at the same time, I just don't understand it. But there are men that say, oh, we're going to go out, and why wouldn't you want to look good for me? Okay, but again, so we have these hangups. I remember talking to a really attractive friend of mine, and she was saying that her greatest fear is not being attractive anymore. And I'd heard that before, because as you age, you become unattractive. So opportunities for people to not trust each other, to not be partners in a relationship, where to build animosity. And I think that a lot of times that animosity, that where am I, what do I do, who are you, and not looking at a partnership and keeping people, that's where things start to break apart. And so, yes, men are jerks in that way. But I think also women be a little forgiving, maybe. I don't know. I think it works on both sides. Again, I call myself happily divorced. I have decided that what I need in the world is to work on my professional career, and I've always been professionally motivated, not personally motivated. Who I'm with doesn't necessarily matter. And that's a good question. Who do you want? And then for me, it was, well, why am I being picky to women? And that's misogynistic, and that all women are beautiful and it's just personality, right? Well, if it's just personality and I'm training myself to just accept everybody and women for just being a woman, well, then do I have a choice in who I want my partner to be? And I think that even that is a question of, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Should you be picky? Should you not be picky? But what I realized for me is I just enjoy having discussions with people. And if I can do that 10 to 15% of my life while I'm working on my projects and professional career, that's great. But who wants that in a relationship? I always call getting into a relationship women trying to steal my soul, because they want more of me than I can give. And I think that negotiation also makes men jerks. And I think it's just priorities and values. What do you think? Because I don't have all the answers. I am just one half, and I've lived a very strange life. I would love to hear your feedback on this. Thanks so much. Bye.